He made me believe I was crazy, but it turns out I was right all along. I still remember the day I met Ricardo like it was yesterday. We were at a company party in Houston, and he was this charming, successful guy in the oil and gas industry. I was immediately drawn to his confidence and charisma. We started dating, and before I knew it, we were engaged. I was 28, and he was 32, and I thought we had it all. As I look back, I realize that I was blind to the red flags. He would often tell me that I was being paranoid, or that I was overreacting. But I loved him, and I wanted to believe that he loved me too. We were building a life together, and I was pregnant with our first child. I had quit my job to focus on our business and our home, and I was financially dependent on him. He knew that, and I think that's what made him feel like he could get away with anything. At first, everything seemed perfect. We had a beautiful home in the suburbs, and we were making a lot of money. But then I started to notice little things. He would pick fights with me over nothing, and then he would leave the house. He would tell me that I was being too sensitive or that I was overreacting. And then he started buying new clothes and cologne. He would tell me that it was just for work, but I could not shake the feeling that something was off. I remember one night, I confronted him about it. "Ricardo, what's going on?" I asked him. "You're acting really strange and I feel like you are hiding something from me." He just laughed and told me that I was being paranoid. "You're just stressed out because of the baby," he said. "You're going to be a great mom, but you need to calm down." But I could not calm down. I felt like something was wrong, and I could not shake the feeling. And then, one day I found a charge for a hotel in our own city on our credit card statement. I asked him about it, and he told me that it was for a work conference. But something did not feel right. I decided to investigate further, and that's when I found the women's clothing in our laundry. It was not mine, and it was not from any of my friends. It was then that I realized that he was cheating on me. But the worst part was yet to come. As I dug deeper, I found out that the other woman was my own sister. I could not believe it. I felt like I had been punched in the gut. I did not know what to do, or how to process it. I remember feeling like I was going to throw up. My heart was racing, and my mind was reeling. I could not believe that he would do something like that to me, especially with my own sister. I felt like I was living in a nightmare. I knew I had to confront him, but I was scared. I did not know what he would say, or do, but I knew I had to do it. I gathered all the evidence I could find, and I went to his office. I was shaking with anger and hurt, but I was determined to get answers. As I walked into his office, I saw him sitting at his desk, smiling like he always did. But when he saw me, his smile faltered. "What are you doing here?" he asked, trying to sound calm. I just looked at him, and I said, "I know what you've been doing, Ricardo. I know about the messages, and I know about my sister." He looked at me, and for a moment, I thought I saw a glimmer of guilt. But then, he just smiled again, and said, "You're just being paranoid again. You're pregnant, and you are stressed out. You need to calm down." I was not having it. I pulled out my phone and showed him the messages. I showed him the pictures of the women's clothing. I showed him the hotel receipt. He looked at me, and for a moment he just stared. Then he stood up and said, "You're just trying to control me. You're just trying to ruin my life." But I was not trying to control him. I was trying to confront him. I was trying to make him see that what he had done was wrong. As I looked at him, I felt a sense of anger and betrayal. I realized that I had been living in a toxic relationship, and I needed to get out. I needed to take back control of my life. I left his office that day, and I never went back. I filed for divorce, and I hired a lawyer who fought for everything I deserved. His ex-wife even reached out to me and told me that this was his pattern. She told me that he had done it to her too. It was a hard and painful process, but I made it through. I got my freedom, and I got my strength back. I realized that I did not need him to be happy. I realized that I was worthy of love and respect, and I was not going to settle for anything less. As I look back on that experience, I realize that it was a turning point in my life. It was a moment of reckoning, and it was a moment of growth. I learned that I am strong and capable, and I learned that I deserve to be treated with love and respect. I still have my scars, and I still have my anger, but I also have my freedom, and I have my strength. And I know that no matter what happens in the future, I will always be okay. My divorce lawyer was amazing, and she helped me navigate the whole process. She told me that I deserved better, and she fought for everything I deserved. As I sit here today, I feel a sense of peace and closure. I know that I made the right decision, and I know that I am stronger because of it. I hope that my story can help other women who are going through similar experiences. I hope that they can see that they are not alone, and I hope that they can find the strength to take back control of their lives. I took a deep breath and began to move forward with my life. I started to focus on my own healing and growth. I started to rebuild my life, and I started to rediscover who I was outside of my relationship. It was not easy, but it was worth it. I learned to forgive myself for staying in the relationship for so long. I learned to forgive myself for not seeing the signs earlier. And I learned to love myself again. As I look to the future, I know that I will always carry the scars of my past with me. But I also know that I am strong and capable, and I know that I can overcome anything. I am free, and I am finally at peace.